We all use TikTok. We use TikTok in nearly everything, nearly in our everyday life. Most of you are actually on TikTok. Most, all of you are actually on TikTok. Let's just put it down. But there are some of there are 10 scary facts about TikTok that will actually want to make you to delete your TikTok from your phone, which I will advise you to except maybe I'm making money on it. But if you're actually doing nothing tangible on TikTok, I think it's time for you to get rid of it. So apart from its scary algorithm and its lack of motivation, states or countries around the world are now trying to ban TikTok like everywhere because they have targeted as a place that is perfect for child predators around the world. And just for perspective, in 2020, Donald Trump actually passed a bill to actually ban the TikTok app. It actually didn't work well because he was actually about to leave office. But not just that, TikTok is now banned in Russia, TikTok is banned in India, and TikTok is banned in Afghanistan over the same security reasons. And other 19 states in the US have even banned TikTok from government-owned devices too, because they are having doubt in their mind that TikTok might actually be feeding their data to the Chinese residents or to the Chinese government then. I don't know. This is really, really scary, especially when you look at it in any way. You see, and the fact that TikTok actually belongs to Chinese is actually one that's also scary to the US because in 2020, TikTok moderation guidelines got released, and then we saw there that TikTok, that the Chinese government actually asked TikTok to ban any content that is related to the Tiananmen Square massacre, whereby the Chinese government actually ran over protesters or killed protesters who they believed or who they disagreed with because the protesters didn't agree with the government, and then the Chinese government killed them. It's really, really dangerous and really, really scary. But TikTok will actually ban anything concerning that if you post it on their platform. And not just about that, TikTok also said that the Chinese government actually asked them to also create a stealth account so that they can be feeding their documents or that they can be feeding their information from the West to the Chinese government. But TikTok actually came out later at the end of the discussion and they said that they said no. We don't know whether it was true that they actually did it, but TikTok actually came forward and they actually said no. It's really, really difficult to tell. And if we were to look at companies around the world, you see, researchers found out that in early 2022 they actually decided to search for companies who actually sell the most of data online, and then they found out that TikTok is actually the company that sells most of its users' data to third-party applications or third-party companies. And yeah, alongside YouTube also, but the fact that YouTube only shares services with Google, which is make sure that your documents or your information are safe, TikTok actually shares your information with third-party users or third-party companies that nobody knows about, which even me saying it now is actually making me feel scared. But those are just, I'll say, a little bit things of what we are just about to get into. Take for example, when the iOS 14 got released and there was a transparency feature on it, then people now started to find out that TikTok actually has access to your clipboard. Like, why would TikTok have access to your clipboard? That is, whatever you copied and pasted from, take for example your Instagram or from your Twitter, whatever you have copied and pasted, TikTok actually has access to it and then can use that to more like know the type of content to direct at you, or more like know more about the information even going on your personal phone, even when you didn't give them permission to. But you see what I've mentioned earlier, those 7 I've just mentioned are really, really scary. But these are the top 3 whereby TikTok has landed themselves in the most hot water. Take for example, during the time of COVID, TikTok actually found that or researchers actually found out that we are actually having a pandemic inside the pandemic. This was because TikTok was actually making teenagers have something called TikTok tics, and that is whereby teenagers will actually be displaying some offensive, sudden behavior, which like some of times leads to physical tics, which more like most of the time leads to disabilities, even to the teenager themselves. But when the doctors now found out that what actually was happening to these children was because of, first of all, because of the stress that they were passing through because they had nothing to do, and for the fact that they were consuming Tourette syndrome content on TikTok was actually making their body to react to it more like in a much more active way, which was actually making them, or more like raising up a newer pandemic even inside the pandemic. And you see, that one is nobody's fault. Yeah, it's nobody's fault. The COVID was nobody's fault. Because teenagers were stressed, they had nothing to do. It was nobody's fault. But you see, this next one I'm about to mention will actually make you really, really scared of TikTok. You see, in 2019, a 19-year-old actually took his own life on a live stream. But rather than TikTok, after they noticed something like that, rather than them more like contacting the local police in the area, or more like sending something or doing something to make sure that, or even cutting out the live stream to make sure that this teenager does not do this thing or spread the kind of stupidity act he want to do at that moment. No, TikTok didn't actually do that. TikTok actually waited 3 hours to set their PR story right before calling the local authorities. And that one now shows us where their priority actually lies. So that means that they are not just after you, they're actually after just the money that they're going to get from your content, from your time you are spending on them. They don't actually care about the users. But that's not even the biggest part. You see, the biggest part about this company is the fact that TikTok has actually told their moderators in the past to actually stop promoting content that are featuring people, and I quote, people who are broke, disabled, and poor, to give a viral, because they are feeling like it won't give the content a viral or aspiration. It won't give the video a viral content or aspirational quality. And it's actually really, really getting scary. In fact, bill had passed again in the US to ban TikTok now, or to sell it to an American. TikTok is actually, I will not say it's a good app, I will not say it's a bad app. TikTok is good. TikTok is bad, depending on how you use it. If you know TikTok is wasting your time, I advise you just straight away from your phone. But if you know you are making money online, you are posting content online, and TikTok is one of the platforms you are using, I advise you to go ahead with it. And I'll catch you in the very soon. Bye.